Onstage, Onstage, Jimenez. Onstage, Onstage, Jimenez. Onstage, Onstage, Jimenez. Onstage, Onstage, Jimenez.
Tonight we welcome the band Ice Cream to the stage of the Phoenix Theater. This is a group from San Francisco who's described their own music as dirty, fuzzy, slightly stupid rock and roll. Tonight we'll hang out with them for a bit, and later they will play a set of music. Please welcome to the program, the band Ice Cream.
Welcome. Hey, what's happening?
It seems like you guys are at an interesting moment. This band was founded in like 2015, is that right?
Yeah.
And a lot of members have come and gone, it seems like, but here we are. And you described to me when we were leading up to this that like you're trying to kind of be more thoughtful about the lyrical stuff, whereas before it was kind of hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Sort of like not about nothing, but just not about things necessarily of like serious substance.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jerk It Off, for example.
Yeah, that was a fun song for the time, and at that time we were kind of playing, house shows every weekend. Like it was just like, we were just like on the kind of party rock thing for a bit, and that's still fun to do from time to time. But I think in order for this band to take the step forward it needs to, in order to keep it fun for us and meaningful for us, because like at this point it's my life's work, and it's my life isn't, I'm not trying to make my life a joke the whole time.
Yeah, that's why I think it's an interesting moment, right? Because you're standing on the precipice of releasing this new stuff, and you can kind of like look back and be like, yeah, this has been some fun, but now we're trying to be a little more serious. Is there an album title?
No.
Okay. Is there an overarching theme with some of this more serious content? I know we'll go into some specifics in a little bit, but I mean, are these like new things that you've been feeling? Because you're the lyricist primarily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there any overarching theme to it? Is it like more darkness as you felt as you've gotten older? Or is it just before you kind of ignored the serious stuff and now you're kind of leaning into it more?
Some of them are bittersweet. Like the single Big Car we're going to be putting out March 6th is kind of bittersweet. But like I think it's it's semi lighthearted, It's like kind of rocks back and forth between.
Well, it's a very specific type of emotional trauma that song has. So tell us about that one a little bit.
I think everyone goes through it. It's just like
what is what though?
I think it just chronicles like a classic tale.
And I think we're talking about our upcoming song, Big Car.
Yeah,
and you feel so. And we developed this song, and this song really went through the washing machine when Kevin was going through a hockey injury that was really, really bad. And so a big part of the theme of what's coming up is that we really used to, I think that this is more of like a musical theme, but we used to write things accordingly so that we could perform them live perfectly. Whereas in the middle of that stint, Kevin would like sit with the song and just add layers and layers and layers to it.
Well, and it's an uncomfortable topic, but I can't help but notice we haven't said what the topic is yet.
Oh yeah, go for it, Kev. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's like when you love someone and you know that you love someone and you want to be with them, but you kind of realize that you're not healthy for each other, and that despite like you've kind of hit your like growth ceiling, and that might be your one true love, but it also coming to grips with the fact that you shouldn't be together is like an interesting thing, and then just kind of having the courage to like move on.
Yeah, super painful.
Yeah,
because it feels right in one sense, but it feels very wrong in another sense. And so was this happening while you had your injury?
No,
Okay.
No, this was I don't know. This got demoed a while ago.
I was just going to say, my God, what a traumatic couple of things to have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the injury is funny. I needed like two different parts of two different cadavers in my leg all of a sudden, and got like this big surgery that luckily SF City paid for. Yeah.
Why did they pay for it?
I play like pickup hockey, and it happened.
Is this on ice?
Yeah, and it happened in one of the leagues, just to try to stay a little fit. my only exercise all week.
Yeah.
No, it's a smoking sport.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, smoke.
There's going to be some pain, I think.
Yeah.
Hockey in particular. Do you does it get physical in pickup league?
Sometimes. I mean, you just run into like these like first years at like USF or SF State, and they're like, they just think that they're still gonna make the NHL or something, so they're like going 100 miles per hour and fighting for everything. And
You strike me as a man who would take another man down if you had to.
no, I don't think so.
No?
I mean, I don't. I'm definitely a lover,
Would not kill a
fighter.
man. I just mean on the ice.
Nah,
Seems like you'd leave it all on the field. No?
No, I mean,
Yeah.
no, it's. I
So
don't
you're-
like it when it gets competitive. Like, I don't like it when it gets too competitive. I like it. Like, I like the camaraderie mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with like, kind of like keeping a band together. It's just like, feels good to work towards something. Like, no one wants to, everything. Like, no one wants to do anything by themselves. Ideally, you wouldn't want to like win the lottery by yourself if you had the option to win the lottery for you and your best pals, you know. And same
I don't know
option,
that everybody would answer it that way.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. There's more joy in life when you like share things, and
You're right.
if you can share fitness and like not dying early or something because you're.
That's a tall order when you're in a
why
city
not?
league type situation. You're going to be playing all kinds of different people and
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to work with everybody is.
There's
part of the game.
despair in isolation, I think is what you're saying, and being surrounded by people, whether you're on the ice
Yeah,
or in the
sure.
studio.
Yeah,
Okay, well, how about this? It seems like there have been moments where you've thought, maybe I walk away from the band Ice Cream, or maybe I double down on the band Ice Cream.
Yeah.
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 Because it just kind of seems like now, and how long has everybody been in the band at this table?
I started last July.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I started this January.
Oh, even more welcome.
Yeah.
And you,
Yeah, and I've been playing since like late 2017.
okay. So here we go. We have the one original here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about Eject. It's another song on this new album.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the emotional core of it. I think that's it's an important one, and I feel like it kind of has to do with why you live your life the way that you do.
Yeah. That song came on Halloween. That song idea came on Halloween 2 years ago. Dante threw a party, or your brother did, or something, and
Yeah,
I
my
had to
brother
get to a friend's show that I just really wanted to see, and I stupidly had to ride my motorcycle slightly stoned. And I'm like riding across town from the Sunset to the Mission, and there's like a really complicated way you can go that's slightly shorter than like jumping on the freeway and all that stuff and kind of going the roundabout way. I was like, it's probably best I don't go on the freeway, so I'll take some side streets. And like that park, like up over into the Excelsior, it's like super confusing. And there was this one time I like turned onto a one-way street, and there was just a truck coming like right at me, and like there was ample time for the truck to like get out of the way, but that was just like happened. And then I got to the bar, and like I was like super nervous, and it was already like closed down, but like all my friends who worked there were like, that's when the regulars would come in, at like 3 a.m. And I just remember like chatting with my friend Greg about it, and just being like, just like fucking, now I'm on bonus time, and that was kind of the idea of it. And then like, okay, well, how many times has my life supposed to ended, and how many close encounters has there been? Like how deep into my bonus time am I? And then it kind of just spawned all these ideas about, should you subscribe to like, even if they're your best friend, should you subscribe to like something that's like their life? Is that right for you? Kind of just like reflecting on all those things.
Have you struggled with that a little bit in terms of like
Yeah.
seeing other people and trying to compare your situation to their situation?
Yeah, for sure. It's like everyone in like ruralish Canada is like already like hitched, you know, by like before mid 20s, you know, and like kids by 25, and it's like, you know, that stuff's hard to like see. And then like, you know, when you meet their babies, it's a whole other emotion, like seeing this person, you know, you did dumb shit with as a kid, now they're holding a baby they made, and you're like, I don't even know if I'll ever have that, because I don't, you know, I'm not resonating with this thing that I notice is putting out a signal. It's just, you know, we're out of phase.
Have you ever wanted kids?
I don't know. I pass.
Yeah.
It's so
Well,
hard.
I only ask because it's funny when we think these things, if
Yeah.
it was never even a goal before. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because it's you see other people and they seem so happy, and then you're like, oh, I wish that was me. But then it's like, oh, but I've never wanted that before. Why do I want that now?
Yeah.
It's a good thing to remind yourself when you're going through those sort of weird thought
Yeah.
avenues.
And I think it's okay to like not know, you know. It's just like being able to understand the evils, you know, and the evils and the, you know, the blessings that come with each thing. Not that I'm holy or anything.
The evils.
Hashtag blessings that come with each.
Okay, so you realize that you need to live your life the way that you live your life, not because other people tell you to live it a certain way or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
How do you pivot off of an experience like that, right? So that happens.
Yeah.
You don't die.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. And then, I mean, what do you do next? You just do you start living your life a little bit differently?
I mean, that was right around the time where, yeah, I was just like jumping into every project. We all decided that in IC we were gonna like take some time and like process everything, that, you know, all the tours and everything for a bit. So I was getting, it just made me more antsy, and I'm already super like anxious, jumpity, like if I have a weekend and I get nothing done, I like feel like shit for the rest of the week, you know, in terms of like musically, if I don't accomplish writing a verse or doing something, you know. So that just like lit even more of a fire into my ass, and I was like, basically it just like called Dante and was like, let's fucking go. Like, let's, you know, let's find some great people and like get this going, you know. Yeah.
Hey, you're from Canada originally?
Yeah.
When did you move over?
Almost 7 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not as a child then. So
Mm-mm,
into
no.
your adulthood
Yeah.
a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
Yeah.
Why San Francisco?
I had a friend. I was originally going to move to LA, but I had a friend that I lived with, one of my best friends, and he so stupid. He used to sell karate DVDs like out of his truck at
This is what we want. Okay,
He
I've
used to
never
sell-
seen this story on any other article
Yeah.
for this band.
He used to sell karate DVDs out of like for his like the person who ran his dojo at like tournaments, and there's a lot of karate tournaments up and down the West Coast, and they would happen in like runs. So he'd like get flown out by his Canadian company or whatever to like go sell DVDs at these events, set up a table and like sell these things.
It's the merch.
I guess it was a viable business, you know. I don't know. It was super bizarre, but he was just like, yo, San Francisco, you'll like, and you know, the people are a little bit more genuine, and like it's the kind of advice at the time, and he was a bit older than me, so I like, you know, good roommate, kind of like a brother to me, and he was just kind of the right situation just to take the advice as for verbatim, you know.
So you met this man while he was selling DVDs in Canada?
No,
No.
no, I met him at university.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you lived where in Canada?
London, Ontario at that time.
Okay, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a more rural sort of situation?
That's a city, but I'm from like kind of the outskirts of Waterloo, which is, you know, right up against the Mennonite like community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you miss that life at all?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, yeah, it's crazy being this far away from like family and friends for so long. It's when you go home, you're like, holy crap, my dad's old. Like he's so much older than, because you take your snapshots from like these moments in time that like are always before you moved, and then it's like you go home and you're like, fuck, like, everything's, everyone's older, and it's like here the seasons pass so quickly because like leaves don't change. You don't have this internal calendar all year being like, yo, you have to like actually look at your phone to know what month it is. I'm so used to being able to like, for a document when you have to write the date, being like, oh yeah, it's October. Yeah, of course it's October. Yeah. It's like, no way to know.
Any other near-death experiences that changed anybody's lives at the table? Includes you, Tom.
What?
Anybody who wants to share. It's a good topic. It's funny. It's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
I had a similar situation like Kevin's, driving over Eagle Lake, over down by Susanville.
Yeah.
It was early in the morning. I grew up around that area. I had to go to Susanville just for a dentist appointment, and saw a truck long distance away kind of dive off into my lane, like fell asleep or something like that. Came to when he like hit the bumps and overcorrected and went off the road, and the trailer swung and almost took up the whole road. And I felt the wind of it like pull my pickup like back, so I couldn't, like, I felt like I put me to a quick stop, and like kept just rattled my windows and kept me going. My heart skipped a beat, and when I finally like took my first breath and relaxed for a second, I just had to call my mom and tell her I loved her real quick. There's a couple near close car accidents, but that was the most memorable one.
Do you think it changed you at all?
No, I was like 16 and dumb and reckless.
It's a shame it didn't happen when you were a little older.
I know. I
could have done something with it.
I would have appreciated it much more then.
Yeah.
Or now.
All right. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't dip into the memory. That's the thing with the near-death experiences is, you gotta like be in the spot to take advantage of them.
Yeah, no, I'll have another one eventually, and I'll appreciate it much more.
I hope so. Anybody else near-death experiences?
Yeah, I used to give Uber and Lyft's ride a while back, and I gave a ride to a person who I think that he had blacked out while he was in my car, and when he came to, he didn't realize where he was. And he freaked out, and he grabbed my wheel on the highway and like jerked my car like across 3 lanes. And I had to be like, stop, dude.
Hopefully a little louder than that.
I was like, hey, buddy, let's not do that right now.
5 stars.
5 stars, yeah, totally. Yeah, it was a wild experience.
Was he riding in the front with you?
Yeah, he was riding in the front with me. He was like, can I get up here with you? I was like, yeah, come on in. Yeah, and then...
Yeah. Was there any fallout from that situation? Did you ever hear from him again?
Oh, yeah, we're not friends anymore. No, thank goodness. No, I've never...
How did it end?
He didn't remember it.
Did you kick him out of the car mid-ride?
Yeah, he started getting really testy, like, not over here, I'm over here, you're going the wrong way. Yeah. And I'm just following the GPS. I was like, listen, dude, yeah. You can like take a walk. It's totally cool.
Was that the end of your Uber Lyft driving days?
Yeah, I was pretty close to the end.
It changed your life. Stop driving Uber Lyft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What about you? You ever die almost?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Let's see, I walked off a cliff up on the Lost Coast.
Yeah, but I only want to know the ones that changed you.
Did you survive?
Oh, no. Yeah, no. No, I think I died on that one. Had to hang on to a tree for a little bit to figure out how I was going to step back onto it. That was a good one, actually. And then I fell off a mountain down in Nevada.
Hey.
Fell off that balcony right over there.
I was going to say, yeah. Well, you were hanging first.
I was hanging there.
You were a teen?
Yeah, I was a teen.
And I believe there was a game you would and so to the listener, it's like, what do you think, 30 feet tall, 30 feet high?
You know what? It was enough that you had enough time to think about it while you were falling. That's when you know you're in trouble. If you're over water, it's cool. But when you're over concrete, it's not as fun. Oh, this is taking an awful long time. Oh!
And so it was a game, right? You would try to like shimmy from one side to the other. Yeah.
I saw the light, actually. I got this big snap in my head. Yeah. That was a good one.
Think you could still do it today?
I'd rather not. I'm trying not to fall off stuff. I fell over backwards off the sliding down the handrail in the lobby when I was a kid. That one cracked my head too, actually.
Oh, goodness.
And they need to put you in a harness, man.
It was a tough child.
Yeah,
And yet, here you are,
Yeah, you know,
still standing.
son of a gun.
back in the old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Kevin, what do you think happens if, like, the creative juices inside you dry up for, like, 3 months?
I don't know. I mean, I've definitely gone through spouts where that's happened, and it's just depressing. It's like now all these things you just have to deal with at their face value, and you can't try to like turn them into something that, you know, is beautiful to you at least, you know. And so it just sucks. I get really depressed when that happens.
Let's talk about daily pep talk in front of a stained mirror, which I think kind of relates to that prompt.
Yeah, that's definitely about that for sure. It's about a lot of things, but yeah, just a depressing 2019. So, and then I was home with the healing from the surgery for a bunch of time, and it was just like, okay, now, you know, it's 3 days, can't do anything, you know, it's a week now, I can't do anything, can't like walk without crutches, can't even make food and carry it to me. Maybe can pick up a guitar, but like, it's like, fuck, even if I had a good idea, like moving anywhere to like record it decently. So it's like, I don't know, it was just like convincing yourself that if you have an idea in your head that it's not good, and then you just get to the point where you just want to numb it, and it's just like you're just taking like all these drugs to pass the time. But
And so you feel like you would have to like talk yourself out of this space on a daily basis.
yeah, Mitch Hedberg has a joke that's like, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm so lazy that I, you know, if a pen and paper isn't right there, I will just convince myself it's not funny. Yeah. And that's kind of like what you end up doing with like song ideas when you're like going through an injury where you can't really get out of bed or like do anything. You can't even like pull in other people, go to your rehearsal spot and like do it. So it becomes such a hassle to try to do that on your phone or, you know, something that's close by. So you're just...
How long were you laid up?
The surgery was November, and our first show was
Like January 30th.
January
Or 31st.
But you were waiting a while for the surgery, right? So you were...
The surgery was November, yeah. But yeah, I had the injury happen in September. Yeah. So it was...
for about 5 months or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst part about depressed mind too, is it's like you lose the potential for good ideas because you're so negative about yourself in that mode that, and this is different than what you're saying, but it kind of resonates a little bit with me, where it's like you have an idea, which maybe if you were like feeling centered and good, you'd be like, oh, cool, let's see if we can do something with it. But then you start just being very negative to yourself.
Yeah.
And it becomes this sort of cyclical bullshit period,
Yeah.
which you experienced and documented in the song.
Some of the songs were like these little shrines with tons of information. And if I was ever like, maybe we could add a thing like that, like this, Kevin would be like, that's in the shrine. That's in the demo of like so many ideas that he had packed into the songs. Because I felt like because you were in one place for like a really long time, you just kept on adding and adding and adding more stuff into it. Like,
Yeah.
that the well definitely didn't like run dry. It seemed. It definitely seemed like you took the ability to like be in one place and you super focused with it.
You got me listening to all that pop. That's why.
You think so?
I think of it so. Yeah. It's like just listening to like, you know, guys like Rex Orange County and like, Soccer Mommy and Margaret Glaspie.
Maybe a little Harry Styles.
Yeah, Harry Styles. But I mean, even Superorganism. You're just listening to this stuff and you're like, why does this leap off the recording to me? And you know, it's just like well layered parts at certain times. Know when to be desolate in the mix, and it's just and then when I was able to actually get up and get out of bed, you still can't really go anywhere. You're still on disability, so it's like, you know, then you just can get to your computer. Okay, then you just pick up whatever's lying around and add to this thing that you're doing just to pass the time.
So do you feel like this period that we're describing really kind of changed the soul of this band a little bit?
I mean, we needed to change. We needed to change anyways. It's like we're still like grimy rock and roll.
Yeah, if the soul of the band had completely changed, then we would have changed the band name as well. But we felt like this was still a direction that we could continue in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have ideas for the band name change? Did you throw any around?
It was when we were faced with the possibility of like stopping the band and doing something else. It really felt like that was like a full stop. Like, okay, we really got to take some time and think about this. Because
got any names though?
Did we?
Just one.
I feel like, Jack, you had one or two.
I had a couple, but as soon as you said we're sticking with ice cream, I just dumped them.
Could you tell us one or no?
If I could remember them, I would give them.
I mean,
to
I
you.
probably, if I were in your position, I wouldn't say it because then it's like you feel like you can't use it later. But you know, I want to know.
If I remember, I'll email you.
Okay. Well, better yet, if you remember while we're sitting here.
I'll shout it.
Okay, great.
If it's a good one, we got a ton of young bands here that need names. That's a huge
That's
thing
not
for
why
a
I'm
young
asking,
band.
Tom.
I
Gaffney.
know
I'm
that,
asking because it's interesting.
We had to come up with.
That's going to make him tell me less if you say someone's going to steal.
We'll steal it.
Oh.
Yeah.
No. No.
We won't. Never would. Do
No.
that. Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? It'll warm some 14-year-old's heart. That they finally have a
it
name.
will
Okay,
not
it will not.
warm some 14-year-old's heart. No one will take these names.
Recycled.
What are
brand
you?
names.
Thank you. Let's talk current affairs. Glass houses.
Glass houses.
Talking
yeah.
about a shrine. This song encapsulates, I think, a lot of like bullshit that happened in 2019 and before that. Whatever you want to share, let's talk about that song.
Yeah. I was taking a lot of like shrooms to kind of deal with, you know, just being in my room for so long doing nothing. I had known David Berman had died. Like that was that was a fact I had processed, but I don't think I ever like actually sat with it. Like I didn't revisit it and like reflect on it. And so I think I was like just reading like Infinite Jest or something like stupid, and I had remembered that, and I was in a state that would be leaning towards apathy. You know, if you've ever read Infinite Jest, it just does that to you. And I was just, you know, pulling up like Reddit and like reading about all these Hong Kong protests and like, I mean, just all the shit that was going down in China, and, you know, trying to figure out ways I could help, you know, and like who to donate, you know, spare bucks to and this and that. And it's like, then every once in a while you'd see like someone like shaming or like boasting about being able to like afford to go to the front lines, you know, or like you hear about someone on Reddit that gets like, you know, tens of thousands of upvotes because they went to, you know, they went to Hong Kong and they were on the streets, you know, and they were like gluing the stones down and whatever. And, you know, it's just, it's interesting to think about how that's possible. And, you know, like it reminds me of people at the Dapple protests that I met when I was there who were like, oh, I just got this like off of Amazon, and like, oh yeah, like you should get a real tear gas mask. Like, oh, they're so cheap on Amazon. And it's like, you're so blind to the way that this whole fucking system works that like you going and trying to make a good gesture by supporting, you know, and then I mean, you can't really go one way without kind of unfortunately taking a step in the other direction too now. But I don't know, it just the obliviousness of like the people people who are comfortable enough and live a luxurious enough life to be able to really like do these extraordinary acts of charity. It's like some of them are just so oblivious to the reason why that's possible, you know. But yeah.
What were the protests that you went to?
The North Dakota Access Pipeline.
And so you actually went there?
Yeah.
Okay. Did that affect you?
I mean, yeah. Like you just get, it's like, you know, some people actually give a shit, you know, and they're actually wanting like, we have to stand up for, you know, white people have to stand up for these Aboriginal people that, you know, some of them speak such poor English. And we just have to unite, you know. It's, you know, the colonialism period of America is over, you know. It's not, you can't just like run shit through people's land anymore.
Yeah. And then you mentioned David Berman.
Mm-hmm.
Why did his death affect you so much?
Honestly, I love the Silver Jews, but I don't own any records by them. But the number of songwriters that I know are influenced by them, and I can hear his voice through, is one of those voices that you can just like, you can hear a song and be like, oh, this has got that flavor, that David Berman flavor all over it. And that song kind of goes like that. Has that like nonchalant, factual, but calm, like demeanor through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting with all the deaths of these sort of prolific musicians over the last 10 years. It's interesting when one hits you like you know them.
Yeah.
You know, and when reading the background of the song, I was like, seems like this person really shook him up by his death. And then what do you do with that? I mean, that song, is it just like total apathy? Just like here's how it all is, and there's nothing I can do about it?
It's just like that's the feeling, the helplessness feeling is like, it's calculated, and it's just, you know, trying to shed some light on the fact that there's a reason that you spend 45 minutes on your phone in the morning before you get out of bed, you know, and then you're fucking late for work or for school or for class. And like, there's a reason that, you know, you can't develop this melody that popped into your head because you're so addicted to spending that free time watching something on Netflix, because you feel like you earned it because you were out in the day, you were out in the world that day, you know. And it's kind of like just becoming this, like, it's so easy for us to just be like, I'll do it later, whatever. Like this, you got instant stimulation, instant dopamine, like right in your hand, and more than anyone's ever had in the history of humans at once, just right there, you know. And you can overload your body until it doesn't know what the fuck to do so easily. And that's what it's about. Yeah. And,
you know, how we counter that, which is we don't know because we're in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So those are a collection of songs. Did you play all of those tonight, or just
No.
Okay?
No, we played one older one, Roses, from the 2018 Numbskull album.
Yeah. Is there anything else from the new selection coming out that's interesting to talk about, or was that kind of the extent of what you guys have coming?
Yeah, that's about the extent. We've got a couple newer ones that like we're still ironing out the kinks on, and
those are definitely all the complete ones that we definitely, like, top to bottom can pick apart and, you know, take more things out than put things in. Everything else that we have on our plate is stuff that we're just putting ideas in, working with more, turning around, like shifting them into new shapes. But quite a few of them are pretty well developed at this point.
Well, I think you guys are at a really interesting moment, and I'm glad that you came on in the middle of it. It seems like the people who love this band are going to get to see a lot of new stuff and going to get to like experience a new chapter of this. So, I mean, it's really appreciated that you came and shared it all with us.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Tom.
Just really cool that you made the drive from San Francisco and decided to hang out with us tonight.
No, we were really happy. Thank you guys for having us. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Our pleasure. And now in just a moment, the music of the band Ice Cream is up next. Thanks again, everybody.
Stick around.
We had a big car. It didn't go fast. We had a dog, a cat, a small backyard. I'd kiss you in the morning. You tuck me in at night. We talk of how she got around, but it felt nice. Well, it felt nice. Well, it felt nice, but all good things bad. We crossed each other one fucking too many times. Maybe some years on down the line, our paths will cross and we'll say that we're doing fine. We're doing just fine. We told each other secrets, embarrassing and cruel. I trick out till you love me, 'cause I love you. So cross your heart and hope to. Die. And now we're just so used to letting ourselves down to even try. To even try. Well, it felt nice, but all good things bad. We crossed each other one fucking too many times. Maybe some years on down the line, our paths will cross and we'll say that we're doing fine. We're doing just fine. We're doing just fine. We're doing just fine now. We crossed each other one fucking too many times. Grab yourself a little bow. I'll buy yourself some alcohol. Desperate times for a hopeless man. Got roses in the morning. Where'd you go? I've seen you before. Hair in your face and that ass on the floor. Just stop calling me. I'd hate to be one you come home to. You're in need of roses in the morning. My hands are filthy clean. Sorry for what I've done. I was missing. Think I'm better now. Have yourself a little bow with all your goals from yesterday's gone. Focus time for photo man. Got roses in the morning. Clean as a whistle, down as a door. He licks his lips, that little whore. The guilt is strong, the man is weak. But it's so awesome, all the sea. Roses in the morning. My ass is filthy to clean. I'm sorry for what I've done. I was missing, think I'm better now. Roses in the morning. My ass is filthy to clean. I'm sorry for what I've done. I was missing. Did I tell you I'm a coward? Not a fighter, my dear. Our flames been lit, but flickering for so long. Oh, when I saw your face from across the room, and from that first second I looked at you, I thought I'd fight for our love. I was wrong. I was wrong. ghosts from yesterday's gone. Oh, this time's for photo man.